these are the things that I worry about. You see, there seems to be a whole lot of summits, seminars, and sessions that are held almost every year, but we're collecting stats. We're not doing anything that is giving us any results to say that, well, we've noticed for the last 20 years we've been having these summits. Nothing is happening. I mean, it's really not a rocket science. If nothing is happening, you change it. Right? You don't wait for collecting more data. We've got enough data. People have been losing their lives. This is one issue. Just put that aside. Another issue would, of course, be when a person makes a report for a crime that has happened, you'd expect for everyone's rights to be upheld, especially just using your common sense, especially the rights of the person who's a victim. I didn't have anything prepared. Actually, Lunga had told me about the fact that I'd have to kind of get an opportunity to stand before people so that I can tell them of the experience that I had. So, as it were, I'll just get on top of it immediately. Name is Msomi, and I so happen to work for the Department of Justice, and that's quite a position to find myself, because I, having to be an employer, or at least employee of the Department of Justice, I always have to come back to saying that it is doing things the right way, because they are my employer at the end of the day. But at this moment, I've been finding it very difficult to admit that to myself, for the fact that my daughter of 18 years old, or at least of the age of 18, lost her life through the hands of a police officer that she was dating at the time. A young man, according to my observation, is only 23 years old, and of course my daughter was 18 at the time. And when the call came in, I just want to sort of invite you to travel with me here. So I was getting ready for work on the 14th, I think it was a Friday. I received a call from her mother around about 5:30 in the morning. And she's advising me that something terrible has happened. Our daughter is lying in some RTP house. She's lost her life. She's been shot multiple times. You know, when you hear something like that, for me it was the first time hearing anything like that. So it was too real to believe, to a fact that I sort of subconsciously blocked it out and just took it as a very sick joke. You know? So I, trembling and scared, not knowing what to do, not sure if it is a fact or maybe I'm in some terrible dream nightmare, I quickly got myself ready for attending to this call. I finished with the shower, got into the car, drove off. But I think while I was driving, there was something inside of me that just could not allow this to be true, so that I could probably get there so that I could see it for myself. But still, I just couldn't accept that it's true. So I drove past Hillcrest, down Rockroy Hotel, and as you approach the Guanyuswa area, Mandela Park, the area is situated where you'd come from the top, cascade down, and see exactly what is happening if there are people gathered. And that's exactly what was apparent. I'm really sorry if I'm a bit shaky. Okay, so when I got close, and now I could see that there are ambulances, mortuary vans, and a crowd of people gathered. To me, it had already been concluded that this is not a joke, it's true, but I still couldn't accept it. Until I got off the car, and they blocked me from getting anywhere close, because they were still busy with, I think the forensics were taking photos and stuff like that. Anyway, they had to keep us clear from seeing what had actually happened, because the two girls, because it was my daughter and some other lady by the name of Uste, who was also a girlfriend of the same police officer, but we were kept off, cordoned off, so that they could finish doing their work. We allowed them to do that. But from that point, that's when I discovered that there's a lot that we still need to work on as a society, as a community, as a government actually. And this makes me sad, the fact that I'm also an employee of the same government. But this is where things went wrong for me immediately. When we got there, we heard that the gunshots went off at about 12. The neighbors were not that surprised, because when those gunshots went off, it's a usual thing that when this guy who was renting the same house would do, he'd pop one or two if he's excited, if his soccer team won, you know, using the service pistol. So When we got there, it was around 5:30, 6:30 in the morning. We heard that the gunshot went off at about 12. At about 3 o'clock, I think that was the first person or people started seeing lights outside. That means that was the first time that the police had actually arrived on scene. So when we got there and learned that this had already been going on at least for about 3 hours and nothing had been done yet, we stayed hoping that they'd finish up and we'd get things moving. But we stayed there until about 10 o'clock. Both girls were still on the floor because they couldn't be moved. They were still busy. I wonder what would take them so long. But anyway, frustrating as that was, eventually they were able to take them. This is another part that we sort of learned with the failure of our government. When we got to the mortuary where the postmortem would be conducted, it couldn't be conducted at least for 9 days. The reason for this is because they have one X-ray machine that they use. The whole of this area has one machine. I mean, how do you do that? So they delayed for 8 days, if not 9, because they had no machine. And eventually, when the machine was fixed, the photographer who is required to take photos while they perform the postmortem was not available. So we had 2 more days to delay. This, of course, backs off everything. You can't claim with the insurance, you can't make any preparations, you can't have a definite date of the burial because no postmortem has been done yet. So we got to a point where they went through that and, well, just to move things forward, we ended up burying my daughter, so she lost her life that way. But these are the issues that I sort of noted. See, the lady that was here, I do apologize for not addressing the names. You see, I got here a bit late. She did advise that there was a summit that was going on not so long ago. These are the things that I worry about. You see, there seems to be a whole lot of summits, seminars, and sessions that are held almost every year, but we're collecting stats. We're not doing anything that is giving us any results to say that, well, we've noticed for the last 20 years we've been having these summits. Nothing is happening. I mean, it's really not a rocket science. If nothing is happening, you change it. Right? You don't wait for collecting more data. We've got enough data. People have been losing their lives. This is one issue. Just put that aside. Another issue would, of course, be when a person makes a report for a crime that has happened, you'd expect for everyone's rights to be upheld, especially just using your common sense, especially the rights of the person who's a victim. I mean, there shouldn't be any questions there. There's a person who's lost their lives, and there's a person who is the one responsible for causing that death, the killer. Why do we play at allowing for a person like that to be given leeway so that they can have bail? What are we doing here? Why don't, I mean, it's no rocket science. If there is a problem and a person is suspected of murdering 2 girls, multiple gunshot wounds, both the ladies were shot in the head and other bullets landed on the body. There were 8 empty or used gun shells that were found on 11 rather, that were found on the scene. So how does then the state allow, and this is where I come in working for justice, how does the state allow itself to say, listen, this person has the right, let him apply for bail, so that the right of the Constitution is upheld? Who are we trying to impress with these constitutions that cannot be changed, or laws that cannot be changed? Why does it seem like there's some kind of a sanctioned power that cannot be changed simply because it's in the Constitution? The Constitution is a paper, piece of paper that is written by human beings. That means if something is not working, you go back to the drawing board and say, listen, if a person if a person is charged for stealing Stimorol, let the person go on bail. He did something stupid. If a person is facing the crime of murdering a human being, of taking someone's life, of raping, why are you saying that person has a right and therefore they must be allowed to get a chance to be out of bail? Do you all know what happened? Do you all know what really happens when these people go out? Because now they know that they've been found, or at least they are a suspect to a crime that is probably going to find them guilty if all the evidence is presented. And knowing that my life is on the line, and you are giving me a chance to be out on bail, I'm not going to be any better. I'm not going to go out and advocate so that people stop doing these hideous things. What I will probably do is another crime, because I want to go out the biggest way possible. I mean, it would make sense, right? If society hates me because my face is in the media and everyone knows what a dog I am, and then you allow me, because you're upholding your constitution, you allow me to be out on bail, what am I going to do outside? And who are you trying to impress? What is it good for you to be outside? I'd rather keep yourself inside, or rather let the law make sure that there are laws that allow for this person to stay inside, at least. Maybe for that reason, if these people are not allowed to be awarded bail, it would speed up things, because these people have rights and they are not found guilty. So let them be free then. How do you let them be free? By proving that they did not do the crime. It will help. It will speed up the court cases, rather than for them to linger for 9 months while the person is still walking inside Spar Knowles with you to buy groceries. Your child's murderer. So we need to change ourselves as a society. But I also think, just to finish off, we need to also be aware of the reason this is happening. It's a cultural illness.
Yeah.
There's a problem with the way that we are observing a woman.
Yeah.
This patriarchal system is causing a whole lot of problems. And I think that if we awaken spiritually, and if we find ourselves again, we will remember that it's the mother that is responsible for our well-being, and she's always taken care of every single one of us. That doesn't allow any one of us who are man or male to have any kind of violence towards them, or to cause any kind of pain. If at all, we should at least try and protect them, to be more kinder, to be more understanding, and maybe if we just emancipate the woman and give her her rightful place, her rightful stature in society, this will wipe out this evil that has crept upon men, that has come upon our fading society as men who are supposed to be the ones protecting these women we have in our lives. So please, people, can we please change? We need to change. Thank you so much.
It is yours, Oscar. Thank you so much.
As society, we should release ourselves from the authority that we tend to exercise over other people's lives. And I'm really bothered. I'm glad there's a social scientist in our midst. I'm really bothered by this civilization, because we really need to realign. Before we speak of patriarchy, we must speak of this authority. To what extent must policymakers and formulators sit down and decide on the policies that affect our lives? At the end of the day, it can happen to anyone at any time. That we don't invalidate. But can't we have a say? I loved how Baba Oscar said, why can't they go back to the drawing board and realign and redesign the policies? Because every time, we speak of these things, civil society organization, United Nations, declarations, we go to Switzerland, we go to Geneva, sleep at fancy hotels, we sign, we declare, nothing is being implemented.